You do not buy a reliable car. You buy a reliable engine wrapped in one. These 10 engines refuse to quit, and the cheaper cars hiding them are where smart buyers win. Dealerships sell badges. We are looking under the hood because number 1 is the toughest used engine most people never shop for. The rule before we start is simple. Stop asking only for a Camry, Accord, Lexus, or Toyota truck, and start asking what engine is under the hood. A famous badge can still hide a costly drivetrain. A plain car with faded paint can hide the engine that keeps going when the odometer gets ugly. That is the whole argument today. We are not ranking horsepower, leather seats, giant screens, or bragging rights. We are ranking engines that make cheap used cars worth a second look. For every engine, we will name the main hidden value, give a proof point, explain why it matters, show the cheap cars that hide it, and tell you what to inspect before money changes hands. If this kind of straight car talk saves you money, subscribe. We are building this channel for buyers who want the truth before the seller talks. Number 10, Ford Mazda 2.5 Duratech and Mazda L5VE. The main hidden value is that this engine lives inside cars nobody fights over, and that keeps prices cheaper. According to Ford Authority, the Ford 2.5 Duratech is a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder tied to the Mazda L engine family, used in midsize cars, vans, and SUVs. Here's why it matters. Shared parts and ordinary design keep ownership simple. This engine is not legendary because it is fast. It wins because it has port fuel injection, a timing chain, no turbo, no direct injection carbon drama, and enough breathing room that normal shops do not panic when the hood opens. You find it in Ford Fusion S and SE models from around 2010 through 2012, Ford Escape 2.5 models, Mazda 3 2.5 models, Mazda 6 2.5 models, and the Mazda 5. For buyers, that means you can shop for a cheap Fusion or Mazda instead of paying Toyota tax for every ordinary errand car on the lot. Edmunds appraisal pages for older Fusions often show values far below comparable Toyota money, and that price gap is where the value appears. The warning is not usually the long block, the warning is the car around it. Inspect automatic transmission shifts, motor mounts, valve cover seepage, coolant stains, rusty subframes, and whether the temperature stays steady on a long drive. If the oil cap looks sludgy, slow down. If the transmission fluid smells burned, walk away faster. Choose this engine when you want a cheaper midsize sedan or small SUV that avoids turbo headaches and does not need a fancy badge to make sense. This is the first lesson. Boring engine, boring car, secret advantage. And number 9 gets even more interesting because Toyota hid a tiny engine in cars that people still underestimate. Number 9, Toyota 1N ZFE and 1N ZFXE. The main hidden value is low stress, not size. Tiny engines get laughed at by buyers who think strength always comes from displacement, but this Toyota family proves the opposite. The 1N ZFE in the Echo, Yaris, Scion XA, and first-generation Scion XB, plus the hybrid 1N ZFXE in the second-generation Prius, was built for simple transportation. According to Jalopnik, a teardown of a second-generation Prius, 1N ZFXE, with more than 303,000 miles, showed a small Atkinson-style engine designed around efficiency and low stress, not power. Here's why it matters. An engine that barely has to work can live a longer life when oil changes and cooling are handled. The regular NZ cars are light, basic, and cheap to feed. The Prius version gets help from the hybrid system, so the gas engine is not carrying every low-speed load alone. For buyers, that means the cheap car hiding the engine may look like an appliance, and that is exactly why it can be smart. A plain Yaris, rough Echo, boxy Scion XB, or older Prius can cost less than flashier compact cars with weaker histories. Used prices vary wildly because clean old Toyotas have a following, but ugly, honest examples can still be reachable. The warning is neglected. Small engines hate low oil, overheating, and ignored coolant. Inspect cold start chain noise, water pump seepage, oil level, oil consumption, cracked plastic, rust, and service records. On a Prius, do not fall in love with the engine and forget the hybrid battery. Scan the hybrid system, check the cooling fan area, and make sure the battery does not make the gas engine work harder than it should. Choose this engine when fuel cost matters more than speed, and you want a cheap commuter that feels boring for the right reasons. The 1NZ is the tiny engine that proved size is not everything. Number 8 swings the other way, into old American iron that refuses to die quietly. Number 8, GM 3800 Series 2 and Series 3 V6. The main hidden value is that old Buicks became cheap for image reasons, not because the engine forgot how to work. According to Hagerty, GM built more than 25 million versions of the 3.8-liter V6 family between its debut and its sunset, and the 3800 became long-lived and underappreciated. Here's why it matters. The engine was everywhere, parts knowledge is deep, and the design is beautifully ordinary. The naturally aspirated L36 and L26 versions are the ones I like. Cast iron block, push rods, port injection, low RPM torque, and no need to scream to move the car. You find them in Buick LeSabres Park Avenues, Regals, Pontiac Grand Prix sedans, Bonnevilles, Chevy Impalas, Monte Carlos, and Oldsmobile 88s. For buyers, the cheap car hiding this engine is usually the Buick LeSabre. Many were owned by older drivers, serviced steadily, and then dumped cheaply because younger buyers did not want a big front-wheel drive Buick. Edmonds and Kelly Blue. Book pricing on older LeSabres often shows why the deal exists. The market discounts the styling, not always the drivetrain. But tough does not mean perfect. The intake gaskets, plastic coolant elbows, upper intake concerns on earlier versions, valve cover leaks, and the 4T65E transmission all need attention. Inspect coolant loss, milky oil, sweet exhaust smell, dried coolant trails, oil dripping on hot parts, and transmission flare. A good one should start clean, idle steadily, and pull without drama. Choose this engine when you want cheap, comfortable highway transportation, and you care more about drivetrain strength than modern styling. If the Buick has records, dry fluids, and a calm transmission, the old man image can become your discount. Number 7 moves to Honda, where a basic Civic engine turned normal ownership into serious mileage. Number 7, Honda R18A and R18Z. The main hidden value is that this engine lives in regular Civics, not collector Hondas. The R18 family is not the wild Honda engine people chase for weekend racing. It is the everyday engine that gets people to work, school, church, and groceries without turning every oil change into a crisis. You find it in 2006 through 2011 Civic DX, LX, and EX models. Then in many 2012 through 2015 regular Civic trims with the 1.8-liter engine. According to The Drive, a 2006 Honda Civic crossed 1 million miles on its original engine and transmission with serious maintenance behind it. Here's why it matters. That does not mean every Civic is magic, but it proves the basic design can survive huge mileage when cared for. The formula is clean, naturally aspirated single overhead cam, timing chain, good fuel economy, and no turbo hiding an expensive surprise. It also avoids direct injection carbon buildup because this is an older, simpler setup. For buyers, the trick is separating normal Civic reliability from Honda tax and owner neglect. A Civic with boring service receipts is better than one with shiny wheels, loud exhaust, and a seller saying it only needs a sensor. Prices are not as low as old Buicks, but older Civics still sit below many newer compacts with CVTs, turbos, and more complicated systems. The warning is generation-specific. Some earlier 8th-generation Civics had cracked engine block concerns, so check coolant level, overheating history, heat output, and service records. Also inspect motor mounts, air conditioning, automatic shifts, transmission fluid color, rust, and signs of abuse. Choose this engine when you want a simple Civic, and you are willing to pay more for records, not modifications. This is not the cheapest car in the row. It is the one that can make cheap ownership feel normal. Number 6 is different because diesel Volkswagens are brilliant only when the previous owner respected maintenance. Number 6, Volkswagen ALH 1.9 TDI. The main hidden value is fuel range, but the main warning is proof. This is one of the few engines here where I would not say buy the cleanest one. I would say buy the one with receipts. You find the ALH 1.9 TDI in late 1999 through 2003 Volkswagen Jetta TDI, Golf TDI, and New Beetle TDI models. According to TDI owner communities and parts specialists like ID Parts, The ALH timing belt service is a known major maintenance item, and high-mileage examples can keep running when the full belt system, fluids, fuel system, and turbo controls are handled correctly. Here's why it matters. The diesel engine can be a beast, but the old Volkswagen around it can still be a project. Iron block, low RPM torque, strong fuel economy, and a simpler injection pump setup compared with later common rail diesels make the engine special. For buyers, a healthy manual ALH Jetta can feel like it runs forever on a tank, especially for long highway miles. But short trips, bad diesel, skipped timing belt service, rust, neglected suspension, and backyard tuning can turn a bargain into a nightmare. Used prices are strange because rough cars can sit cheap, while clean diesel manuals bring more money from people who know what they are. Inspect timing belt, tensioner, rollers, water pump, injection pump leaks, hard starting, smoke, boost control, turbo actuator movement, clutch feel, electrical windows, locks, rust, and cooling health. If the seller only says the belt was done but cannot prove the full kit, keep digging. Choose this engine when you drive long distances, want serious miles per gallon, and understand diesel maintenance before buying. Skip it if you hate records or only drive 2 miles at a time. The ALH rewards careful buyers. Number 5 returns to simple American hardware, where fleet use proved the point. Number 5. Ford 4.6 Modular 2-valve V8. The main hidden value is that taxis, police cars, and Grandpa Lincolns already tested the engine harder than most private owners ever will. This 2-valve modular V8 is not exotic, and that is its strength. You find it in Ford Crown Victorias, Mercury Grand Marquis sedans, Lincoln Town cars, and some older Mustangs, though the Panther platform cars are the smart value play. According to Ford's police vehicle history, Crown Victoria police packages accounted for 85% of U.S. and Canadian police pursuit sales in 1998, proving why the Panther platform became a fleet favorite. Here's why it matters. Fleet life is ugly proof. Rear-wheel drive body-on-frame construction, port fuel injection, a relaxed V8, and room under the hood make repairs less mysterious. The engine does not make wild power, but low stress is part of the reason it lasts. For buyers, the cheap car hiding in it is usually a Crown Victoria, Grand Marquis, or town car that the market ignores because it looks old, drinks fuel, and feels unfashionable. Edmunds and Kelly Blue Book values on older Crown Victorias often show low appraisal numbers compared with Toyota or Lexus sedans, and that price gap can become a value if the car is clean. The warning is buying the myth instead of the condition. Police cars may have heavy idle hours. Town cars may have costly rear air suspension. Plastic intake manifolds can leak coolant. Coil-on plug misfires are common. Rust can kill frames, rockers, brake lines, and mounts before the engine quits. Inspect transmission shifts, rear axle whine, front suspension, coolant leaks, timing noise, air suspension, brake lines, and tire wear. Choose this engine when you want cheap rear-wheel drive, comfort, simple parts, and a car that most shops understand. Skip it if you need small parking, modern handling, or hybrid fuel economy. The 4.6 wins by being overbuilt and understressed. Number 4 keeps that low-drama idea, but Toyota hides it in everything from Camrys to forgotten coupes. Number 4. Toyota 2ARFE 2.5. The main hidden value is that you can shop the engine across several Toyota models instead of fighting only for the Camry badge. This 2.5-liter 4-cylinder powers many 2010 through 2017 Camry 4-cylinder models, 2009 through 2018 RAV4 models, Scion TC coupes, and 4-cylinder Toyota Venza models. According to IC Cars longevity data, Toyota dominates many long-lasting vehicle lists, and practical models like Camry and RAV4 keep showing up as high-mileage candidates. Here's why it matters. This engine sits in the kind of cars people keep for years, not just cars they brag about. The 2AR is naturally aspirated in these common versions, uses a timing chain, has port injection, and makes enough power for normal driving without turbo boost. Toyota moved beyond some older 2AZ oil-burning complaints, and this engine became the quiet middle-class workhorse. For buyers, model choice changes the deal. A Camry carries the family sedan premium. A RAV4 carries the SUV premium. A Scion TC can hide the same engine logic behind a cheaper coupe image. A Venza can give roomy wagon comfort without Lexus money. The warning is that Toyota badges can hide neglect. I have seen Camrys with black oil, cheap tires, and mismatched brake parts, while the seller still asks Toyota money. Inspect water pump seepage, timing cover leaks, cold start VVT rattle, oil records, coolant health, transmission shifts, and suspension. On RAV4s, check all-wheel drive service and tire wear. On Camrys, watch for rideshare abuse. Choose this engine when you want Toyota reliability, strong parts support, and lower repair drama than many newer turbo sedans. It is not the cheapest engine here, but it is one of the easiest to trust when records are clean. The 2AR is the practical Toyota pick. Number 3 adds more character without giving up the long life formula. Number 3, Honda K24. The main hidden value is that this engine lasts while still feeling alive, and that is why mechanics respect it. The K24 family shows up in practical cars like 2002 through 2009 Honda CR-V models, 2003 through 2007 four-cylinder Accords, 2003 through 2011 Honda Elements, and 2004 through 2008 Acura TSX models. According to Motor Trend, the K24 is one of Honda's most adaptable and respected engine families. Here's why it matters. This is not just a commuter engine that survives by being dull. It has a strong block design, a timing chain, good breathing, and enough torque that old Hondas do not feel dead every time you merge. In normal CR-V, Accord, and Element applications, it is naturally aspirated, so you avoid turbo heat and boost pressure trouble. For buyers, the cheap car hiding depends on market weirdness. Elements can be overpriced because campers, dog owners, and lifestyle buyers found them. The smarter deal may be a CR-V or Accord, with the same family feel and less cult tax. Older CR-V and Accord listings often sit in reachable money, though clean ones are no longer throwaway cheap. The warning is that a great Honda engine can still be ruined by bad owners. Check valve adjustment history, VTC actuator rattle on later versions, oil leaks, power steering leaks, AC compressor problems, automatic transmission fluid, cooling health, and rust. On CR-VS, inspect rear quarters, subframes, and suspension noise. On Elements, check door seals, underbody rust, and interior abuse. Choose this engine when you want a practical Honda that still feels decent to drive after 200,000 miles. It is the smart driver's four-cylinder, especially when you want simple ownership without driving something lifeless. Do not overpay just because people online love the badge. Pay for records, clean shifts, and a dry engine bay. Number 2 gives you more power, Lexus smoothness, and the same engine hiding across cheaper Toyota models. Number 2, Toyota 2 GR-FE 3.5 V6. The main hidden value is shared luxury smoothness without always paying the luxury badge price. Toyota used this V6 across Avalons, Camry V6 models, Siennas, RAV4 V6 models, Highlanders, Venza V6 models, Lexus ES 350 sedans, and Lexus RX 350 crossovers. According to IC Cars, Toyota and Lexus models remain heavily represented in long-lasting vehicle rankings, and many of the vehicles tied to this engine family have strong, high-mileage reputations. Here's why it matters. The guy paying Lexus money may share a lot of engine DNA with the person who bought a plain Avalon or Sienna. The leather, wood trim, and quiet cabin may change, but the core engine story can be close. The 2GR is naturally aspirated, uses a timing chain, makes strong power without turbo boost, and has huge parts support because Toyota sold it everywhere. For buyers, that opens smarter choices. An older Avalon can feel like a budget Lexus. A V6 RAV4 can be surprisingly quick. A Sienna can haul a family without feeling strained. A Lexus RX costs more because the badge and cabin sell, not because the engine is completely different. The warning is service cost and application wear. This is not the cheapest engine to service, and vans or crossovers may have lived hard family lives. Inspect water pump leaks, timing cover seepage, coil misfires, transmission shifts, oil cooler lines on applications that use rubber lines, mounts, cooling health, and records. On Siennas, check sliding doors, suspension, interior wear, and evidence of heavy family use. Choose this engine when you want Lexus smoothness, Toyota parts support, and real power without turbo complexity. It is one of the safest bets for comfort, miles, and confidence when the example is clean. The 2GR proves that shopping by engine can beat shopping by badge. But number 1 is the engine I trust when the miles get ridiculous and the job gets heavy. Number 1. Toyota 2 UZFE 4.7 V8. The main hidden value is that this engine makes mileage feel like a suggestion, but only if the truck around it has not rusted away. You find the 2 UZFE in Toyota Tundras, Toyota Sequoias, V8 Toyota 4Runners, Lexus GX470, Lexus LX470, and Toyota Land Cruisers. According to Motor Trend, Toyota tore down a million-mile 2007 Tundra to inspect how the body, interior, and mechanical parts held up after extreme mileage. Here's why it matters. That kind of proof does not mean every truck will reach a million miles, but it shows what a conservative, truck-minded Toyota V8 can survive when service is real. The 2UZ have a cast iron block, low revving torque, conservative output, strong cooling when maintained, and a design that does not feel fragile. It uses a timing belt, not a chain. So do not let anyone call it maintenance-free. Timing belt and water pump service are part of the deal. For buyers, the cheap vehicle hiding this engine is usually not the Land Cruiser, because the Land Cruiser tax is real. The Lexus LX carries that rich buyer's shadow, and GX prices climbed as overland buyers found them. The better value is often an early Tundra or older Sequoia, with records, a clean frame, and no fantasy pricing. Carfax-style listings can show older Sequoias below $10,000, while clean, rust-free trucks cost more because buyers know the engine. The warning is that the engine may be unkillable, but your budget is not. These vehicles drink fuel by the gallon, need big tires, big brakes, more fluids, timing belts, and rust inspection. Rust can kill the frame before the engine quits. Inspect frame rails, control arm mounts, rear suspension points, brake lines, hitch areas, exhaust manifold ticks, cooling health, and belt records. On Lexus GX models, check the air suspension if equipped. Choose this engine when you want the strongest long-life engine on this list, and accept fuel, fluids, belts, and truck-sized repairs. This is not the cheapest engine to run. It is the one I would trust when failure is not an option. The 2UZ earns number 1 because it combines proof, toughness, and hidden value in trucks that people overlook until they understand the engine. Buyer cheat sheet. Do not buy the badge. Buy the engine, the records, and the condition. The Ford Mazda 2.5 Duratech is the sleeper economy engine hiding in Fusion's Escapes, Mazdas, and Mazda 5 vans. It is best when you want simple ownership and no turbo drama. The Toyota 1NZ is the tiny fuel saver hiding in Yaris, Echo, Scion XB, and Prius models. It is best when low fuel cost matters more than speed. The GM 3800 is the American comfort engine hiding in old Buicks, Pontiacs, Chevys, and Oldsmobiles. It is best when you want cheap highway comfort and can inspect coolant issues. The Honda R18 is the regular Civic engine that proves boring. Hondas can go huge miles with records. It is best when you want simple, compact ownership. The Volkswagen ALH Di is the diesel long-range pick, but only for buyers who respect timing belts, fuel systems, and receipts. The Ford 4.6 2-valve is the fleet-tested V8 for Crown Victorias, Grand Marquis sedans, and town cars. It is best when you want part support and low-stress American simplicity. The Toyota 2AR is the practical Toyota 4-cylinder hiding in Camrys, RAV4s, Scion TCs, and Venzas. It is best when you want long-life Toyota ownership without chasing luxury. The Honda K24 is the driver's 4-cylinder hiding in Accords, CRVS, Elements, and Acura TSX models. It is best when you want durability with some personality. The Toyota 2 GR-V6 is the smooth power play hiding across Toyota and Lexus models. It is best when you want comfort and strength without turbo complexity. The Toyota 2 UZ-V8 is the heavy-duty trust pick hiding in Tundras, Sequoias, 4Runners, GXs, LXs, and Land Cruisers. It is best when you accept truck costs for maximum longevity. The big rule is this: a great engine does not save a neglected car. Check cold starts, oil level, coolant level, transmission behavior, rust, tire wear, service records, warning lights, and whether the seller can answer basic questions. A clean engine bay means nothing if the oil is black, the coolant is low, the transmission slips, or the frame is crusty. I would rather buy a rough-looking car with receipts than a polished one with excuses. The market loves badges, but mechanics love patterns. Engines that avoid turbo heat, have strong parts support, use known layouts, and live in vehicles with reasonable repair access are the ones that keep owners calmer. Still, every engine here has a weakness. The Duratech needs transmission and mount checks. The 1NZ needs oil and hybrid checks. The 3800 needs coolant checks. The R18 needs block history awareness. The ALH needs a timing belt proof. The 4.6 needs rust and intake checks. The 2AR needs timing cover and water pump checks. The K24 needs valve and transmission attention. The 2GR need water pump and oil line awareness. The 2UZs need a timing belt and frame inspection. That is not fear. That is smart buying. Have you owned one of these engines past 200,000 miles? Drop the mileage below because real owner proof helps the next guy avoid painful mistakes. One more thing before you buy. Engine reputation is not a warranty. A seller will use words like bulletproof, legendary, unkillable, and million mile, but those words do not change bad maintenance. Look for proof. Receipts are proof. Clean fluids are proof. Smooth cold start is proof. Stable temperature is proof. A dry underside is proof. Matching tires and normal wear are proof. A seller saying my mechanic said it is fine is not proof unless the mechanic put it on paper. This matters because long-life engines often attract careless buyers who think maintenance is optional. They hear Toyota, Honda, Buick, or diesel and assume the car will survive anything. That attitude ruins good engines. The smartest buyer does the opposite. He respects the good design, then verifies the care. Start the engine cold. Listen for rattles, knocks, misfires, and chain noise. Let it idle. Watch the temperature. Drive long enough to warm the engine and transmission. Check for leaks after the drive. Smell for coolant. Look for smoke. Scan for codes. Then decide if the price matches the risk. Also remember that the cheap cars hiding great engines can still need old car work. Struts, brakes, tires, mounts, air conditioning, wheel bearings, alternators, starters, and sensors can all cost money. That does not make the engine bad. It means the real deal is the car with the great engine and manageable catch-up maintenance. Do not spend every dollar on the purchase price. Keep money aside for fluids, belts, hoses, tires, and the first repair. That buffer is what turns a smart used buy into a long-term win. The whole point of this video is not to worship 10 engines, it is to change how you shop. Once you learn the engines, the used lot looks different. A boring Fusion becomes interesting, a tired Buick becomes possible, a plain Yaris becomes smart, an old Crown Vic becomes logical, a Sequoia with a clean frame becomes more than an old SUV. You stop asking what badge impresses people, and you start asking what setup will still be running after the payment, the warranty, and the shiny detail job are gone. That is how smart buyers win. Not by luck, by knowing what is under the hood before the salesman talks. The real shop test is where this list becomes practical. Do not let a famous engine make you lazy. I have watched buyers ignore bad transmissions because the engine was known to last. I have watched people buy rusty trucks because the V8 had a reputation. That is backwards. A strong engine gives you a better starting point, not permission to skip inspection. On any cheap car hiding a great engine, start with the basics. Does it start cold without drama? Does it idle smoothly after 30 seconds? Does the temperature rise normally and stay steady? Does the transmission engage without a bang? Does the oil look clean enough to trust? Does the coolant look like coolant, not mud? Does the exhaust smell normal? Does the seller have records or just confidence? A good engine in a neglected car can still become expensive. A decent engine in a well-kept car can sometimes outlast a famous one that was abused. That is why condition, records, and price have to work together. For older buyers, this matters even more because many are not trying to build project cars. They want one dependable tool. Maybe it is a commuter that saves fuel, a highway sedan with soft seats, a small SUV for errands, or a truck that can tow without panic. That buyer does not need internet arguments. He needs the truth before the check clears. This is also why current used prices must be viewed with patience. A cheap Buick with a 3800 may still need intake work, tires, brakes, and suspension. A cheap Prius may need a hybrid battery. A cheap ALH diesel may need a timing belt kit. A cheap Tundra may need a timing belt, water pump, framework, and tires. The price on the window is only the first number. The real number is the purchase price, plus the first 6 months of catch-up work. If that total still beats the popular alternative, you may have a deal. If it only looks cheap before repairs, keep moving. I also like to compare the engine against the car around it. The Toyota 2GR may be great, but a trashed Sienna interior and sliding door problems still matter. The Honda K24 may be tough, but a slipping automatic Accord is not a win. The Ford 4.6 may be simple, but a rotten frame is not safe. The 2UZ may be legendary, but a rusted Sequoia with mystery timing belt history can drain a budget fast. This is why I never buy the engine code alone. I bought the whole vehicle after the engine code caught my attention. Another thing sellers do is use mileage as a weapon. Low miles sounds comforting, but low miles with short trips, old fluids, dry seals, and neglected time can still be trouble. High miles sounds scary, but high miles with records, highway use, and steady maintenance can be honest. Look at the pattern, not just the odometer. A 200,000-mile Avalon with receipts may be better than a 120,000-mile luxury crossover with no proof. A 300,000-mile diesel with a folder may be better than a shiny one with a timing belt story. The mileage is a clue, not the verdict. Also, think about your local repair world. A great engine is easier to own when your local shops know it and parts are available. A Buick 3800, Ford 4.6, Toyota 2AR, Honda K24, or Toyota 2GR is usually familiar. An old ALH diesel may need a shop that understands Volkswagen diesels. A 2UZ truck may need someone who knows rust inspection and timing belt service. Before buying, call your mechanic with the exact model and engine. Ask what they hate, what they like, and what they would inspect first. That 5-minute call can save you thousands. The best part of shopping by engine is that it calms the process down. You stop chasing the shiniest listing. You stop panicking when a famous badge costs more. You start seeing patterns. Boring cars with strong engines, good records, and fair prices become attractive. Flashy cars with weak drivetrains become easier to ignore. That is the whole advantage. Smart buying is not about knowing every car. It is about knowing which questions expose the truth. What engine is it? What transmission is behind it? What fails around it? What proof does the seller have? What will the first repair cost? When those answers make sense, you can buy with confidence. That confidence is worth more than any shiny badge promised today. Click the next video. These engines prove the badge is not the whole story. Subscribe, keep your money safe, and shop the powertrain before the salesman talks.